Hi everyone. We are starting a live video on multiple channels, so let's just wait until everything is on and up, and here we go. Here we go. I am coming into today live from a very different angle, I feel, but it's rooted in my truth, and I've felt this call this morning that I just have to share a different angle that I usually take and approach. And if you've known me or been in my world before, I have a logical mind, and I coach women entrepreneurs with their offer creation, their strategies around their funnels, their digital marketing, their everything that is like based in the logic behind an online business, and support them in create an income from, or even scale their business from their gifts. And over this past few years, I've had a really deeper and deeper journey into my own personal development, and I've dedicated a lot of time and focus and energy into my becoming, and I've spent many hours, sitting in silence, contemplating big questions, small questions, seeing the shifts happening after doing so, and really carving out what it means for me to embody um, that person who's operating from their truth, and what it actually means to create soul aligned offers and being in alignment when it comes to your business, because it's so easy to see everywhere on social media. It's flashy, it's out there. People are using these terms so lightheartedly nowadays when it comes to attracting your audience. And I was sitting there thinking, does it actually mean for me? And how can I transmit what's happening in my world currently, and what it means for me in my offers? And so it hopefully will also then help you understand all the behind the scenes and the processes that people go through when they are carving out their offers, when they are really coming into this space of sharing their gifts from that frequency of truth. So a little bit of a backstory. I, within the past, say 5 to 6 months, there has been a lot of really physical and location, yeah, like shifts and movement going on in my world. And the process that is happening in your lives are usually a mirror or a reflection then also in your business. So it's not a surprise to me that there's a relocation happening in our real life. We just moved from Thailand to Bali, and at the same time I completely reorganize, or am in the middle still. I feel like I'm coming out of this restructuring my business and the positioning that I truly am standing for. And so that is deep work. That is not something that I wake up and I decide now doing. And so I'm giving you the examples and taking you on that journey. Bear with me, I have a point here, but I need you to have the context so you understand my point and what I'm about to share. So when the call came, like I literally received that message from my guides, from God, the universe, you can call it whatever feels best to you, that our life in Samui in Thailand is not serving us at its best. So there was this shift going on. There were like things that weren't really working for us, and therefore I didn't feel in flow anymore. I could sense that I am suppressing something that I was doing. I'm going in a direction because I felt okay, this is our routine. We set it up. This, it served us until a certain point, and I ignored a mini voice, a silent, like a stronger, growing voice inside of me that said, look again, look again. Here is more. There's work to do. And so when I did that and I opened the jar and I looked inside and I said, oh, okay, there is apparently something bigger than I had known. And so I dared to look and I looked inside, and what it meant was essentially a move for us. And it's funny because back then it was in at the end of last year in December, I, or actually November, and then within 2 weeks, there was a lot of things going on where I then decided, okay, I'm trusting this call. I'm trusting my intuition. I have no idea why I should move to Bali. I actually had a lot of resistance in the first place because I had been to Bali 8 times before, and it was always in, traveling, discovering, being on my own prior to kids. And the last time I went to Bali, I I was really feeling this is it. Bali and I'm complete. This is growing bigger and noisier and chaotic in a way that I didn't resonate with. So this was 7 years ago, the last time. And so it was really surprising to me, and I was questioning, are you sure? Is Bali the destination? Is it Bali? And I kept asking, and yes, it, it, it yes, it always came a clear yes back. And so, okay. Then I was like, okay, well, if you say so, let's go move to Bali. And that was literally how I made the decision, how I then informed the school of my children were, were finishing until this month. And then I'll take the kids out. I ended the lease of our house and I did all the things necessary to actually relocate to Bali, and it was against a lot of logical things. And yet it felt all right. It felt like the right thing to do. So I'm giving you this context so that you see that that is a process. That is something obviously that takes time, that takes courage, confidence, trust in yourself, in your intuition, in also this ability to blend out the noise, because there's a lot of voices that come up and opinions from other people. There is your own inner critique that comes up and says, are you sure you're giving up a perfect life? You have everything established here. There's, there's so much doubt. And that is something that I've been practicing throughout my life. It's not the first time that I'm doing this big leap, that I'm actually jumping into the unknown, hands wide open, arms wide open, and fully trusting. So I'm maybe even cheating by saying this is like it's not the first time, even though each time you do it, it requires again the same amount of trust. But I've come to a stability and a rooted trust in myself, that I know that this voice is my compass, and that's the message here today. Your biggest takeaway from this is, if your inner voice is, or your guidance system, if you are in this really grounded space and you receive this message and you know and you connect with it and you feel that it's actually feeling true, then it is your truth. And then it's only like the most natural thing to do is then acting upon that voice. It's actually counterintuitive, it's counter natural, counterproductive if you then ignore it and continue your day with the things before, just because they're already in place, just because they feel safer, just because other people tell you, just because you've always done them, just because, right? And so once you are in this practice and really in a deep knowing that that is the way of doing things, then it becomes easier each time. So And this has been the truth in my life for many different occasions. But now implementing this inner knowing and this inner truth also for my business hasn't always been the case. And I've been in this business, like in my coaching business, since over a decade now. And I love the journey. I love the lessons. I love the ups and downs. And from an outside perspective, I've definitely reached levels of success that most others haven't reached. If you look me up on Google, you find a lot of social proof. I'm on different, people's podcasts, YouTubes. I've spoken on stages. So from outside, yeah, absolutely. And my business has always been the business, like the source of income for me and my boys. Prior to my kids, it funded my travel lifestyle. I have a decade worth of traveling around the world and living the digital nomad lifestyle. Solo first, then with a partner, then with children. And I only stopped because COVID happened. I probably would still be chasing the sun and going places, but life made me stay put. And that was for a reason because this stationary phase during COVID really helped me focus more inwards, focus more on my personal development, focus more on my spiritual journey, and go all in on my business. And yet, it is still a process, and it has been still a journey to really unravel all these layers of years and a lifetime worth of, covering up. And so there was a huge, huge breaking free last year when I came out of a business partnership where I then understood what my lesson was in there for me and how now I am going about things. And it's beautiful to see how all these different people get put into your life. They're coming, they're mirrors, they're helping you. They're like, nothing is a bad experience. All is a lesson. And if you come from this place of really looking at it abundantly, then you can only grow and expand. And this is what has happened for me. So fast forward to today. This all is necessary for you to understand and hopefully also then go away and take for you to understand how sometimes you are in a really rush to do things because life is happening, because you feel this need to create and keep going and showing up, and because you've done things the way you've always done, and because it works for other people, or because people telling you this is the way it's supposed to be for you as well. But if you pause and reflect and sit down and really really allow yourself to tune in with what is true for you, what is the truth for you, then the pure magic can just come out and can pour into your offers, your business, your clients, your children, your partners, your relationships. Then it's truly alignment. And that is what I I understand for myself. And so it's even though you know it and you feel it and you've experienced before, there's always new lessons, new situations where you can practice this. And only 3 weeks ago, I again was in this manifesting generator mode. If you're into human design, you know what I'm talking about. We have 100 gazillion balls in the air. We feel energized by that. We know we can do it. No vision is too big. We are just like doing, and getting things done and also accomplishing things. And this is where we are thriving. And yet, the offer that came through me came out of an exciting mode and really a moment of, oh, I've accomplished something. I want to share this with the world. Let's just go and do it. And then blah, 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 blah. I created a funnel. I created this mini offer where I said, oh, this is going to be so awesome because people will really walk away from it. They really will understand the process behind this, what has worked for me. And I'm talking about something that I share in a second. And then I created all this And life again made me stop. So my son got sick, really sick, and I had to stop. And then it was the same week, I had my periods, son got sick, it was raining, it was like everything was coming. Not that the rain will affect my business, but it was like this, that I could feel the energy. And it's just like, okay, Julia, calm down, slow down, pause. Maybe there's another lesson. And so I did. And so I slowed down. And the initial offer that I was about to share with the world, and I wanted to record a mini training on how I signed, not signed, but how I attracted 30 plus podcast guests for a newly relaunched podcast within a month. And have already recorded now, as of per today, I think it's 13 episodes. I've published already 9 of them. There's a lot of people on my calendar. Like I'm in this awe of how beautiful, easy this process has been. But the key point here is not that it didn't come from me doing more, from me posting more, from me reaching out to people. What clicked here and what made it all happen, and what I want you to take away from this video today is I trusted again this inner voice that was against all logic. And you know what it said? In a moment of me seeing, oh, we're relocating to a new country. This means more expenses. This means more, um, restructuring my, well, I was already restructuring. I was already investing in things to actually build more momentum in my business for a monetary bigger outcome than my usual months look like. There was a lot of logical reasons for me to focus on more sales, on more going all in on you know client work, on outreach, on creating paid offers. And this inner voice kept saying podcast, podcast, podcast to me. And I said, yeah, 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 I have it on my list. I know I'm going to relaunch this podcast. Um, I know the podcast is an amazing tool, and every single time I had a conversation, I opened my social media, or I sat down again and looked at the plan. The podcast was in my face. Each time I was in connection with someone who wanted to collaborate with me, they would say immediately yes to the podcast, and later they said always, oh yeah, this your message is beautiful. The work that you're doing is great. I am in absolute alignment, but this and this and this and this that had all like numbers behind, that were all in like connected with some monetary exchange. They said later, I'm not there yet, but the podcast I can do right now. And so I was like, all right, now I see it. I see it. Okay. I have no idea why this podcast is so important, but I trust. I trust that I move forward with this offer. And I trust that this is now the thing that first needs to come out. And I see how all the other elements of the sovereign mama brand that I am birthing out here, that is coming to fruition, that is already taking shape, that the podcast is the leading thing. And honestly, it's not that I receive it. There is some steps behind the scenes that are happening. There's so many sitting down and really saying, is this okay? This is a lot of time. This is a lot of like leaning all in, investing my energy, investing my energy and my time into something that is not connected to the monetary outcome. But it was just as logical as moving to Bali without knowing why I'm in Bali back then in last year in December. And so this is the key takeaway from you. Now that I've done it, I've initiated this process. Now that I'm fully in it, it does make sense. So all these conversations, all these people who are raising their hands, and all these messages that are now falling into my inbox, are filled with next, you know, next opportunities, are leading into collaborations, even clients, even um, other paid opportunities, speaking gigs, retreats that I'm co-hosting, and so on and so forth. Did I know that beforehand? No. Did it make sense from a financial point? No. But I did it anyways. And so sometimes it's really this fine nuance to seeing this is what's necessary for me right now, but this is what feels better, what other people are reflecting you back, and what other people are saying yes to. It's as simple as that. And trusting then, okay, if it feels good for you, if you have the resonance, if you have this magnetism going on, go for it. And the money is always only the byproduct of your business, of your service, of your sharing your gifts, anyways. The money cannot be the leading factor. And it's yet the hardest pill to swallow when you are in the midst of life, when the bills are coming in and when the noise is loud and when you're like, but. So this is the work. This is the message. This is your thing to contemplate, to take away, to sit down and really do. Where am I? So am I operating from this need, um, this ego, from this, what is it that's actually my driver? And then really be honest and go back. And like I said, I came from this really excited version and I said, ooh, this is going to help other people, but it's also going to make me some money. Honest. I honestly, this was also obviously coming in, and I am doing business here. It's this is my business. So of course, I'm also looking how to monetize what I'm sharing. It's not that I'm a charity walking around and just sharing. And that's okay, right? But again, I was watering down the the path that I just discovered to be my truth. And so I was meant to focus on the podcast more. And I was forced by outside circumstances to slow down with something that is truly in alignment with me. But it wasn't the right timing. So here's this other, flavor and secret ingredient to your success. When we talk about, does it feel right? Is it in resonance with people, and is it the right timing? So it wasn't the right timing three weeks ago. It wasn't the right timing 2 weeks ago. And I kept pushing back to record this masterclass and deliver this training because it's just like there wasn't the right time, there wasn't the right time, and I made up excuses. And now I know today, I know why I did not record it, because I did not have the full puzzle pieces all together. I didn't feel it. There was something missing. And today, this is it. Like, this is all I wanted to ever share with you. When I created this name for it, magnetized masses, I'm playing with that. Obviously, 30 people on a calendar are and not, definitely not masses. But it felt massive for me because I dropped one post and I had suddenly, a like 6 months worth of um, people lined up for a newly launched thing that had no social proof, that had no authority. Yes, it's not my old podcast, The Nomad Mompreneur, was there on Spotify, so I just rebranded it. But it's a new angle, it's a new message. It's just me, the same host. But so my point here is, it wasn't because it was a big thing that I was launching. It wasn't because people said, oh, there are a gazillion people on this podcast, this makes so much wave. No, they resonated with my message. They resonated with me when I completely detached from the outcome, shared this and I said, I have this podcast. This is the name. This is who I'm looking for. If that sounds like you, just reach out. Okay. That's it. And because it was just coming from this genuine connection frequency, people suddenly were like, "Bah, I want to be in your world. I want to be in your energy. This is where I want to be showing up to and sharing my story. And I want this." Yes. So it's there's a lot more that I can touch on. There's a lot more I can dive deeper. And there is this invitation to join me and come deeper into my Telegram space for this magnetize masses mini offer that I have there. It's only $22 if you really want to dive deeper and unlock those other codes, go deeper, contemplate with me more on those topics that are helping you, supporting you in your own unraveling of what's my truth, what's my offer, what's my message, what's my people, what do they need. So there's so much more that I can share and riff off, and it's still here. It's actually here. Like it's always open. It's here for you to take. Like I said, it's $22 to join. I really want to make this an easy yes. If that is something that you feel called to be a part of, I'd be so happy and excited to walk you through. And it's yes, it's just part of starting to gift yourself that time, focus, and energy in something that is the work that we all need to be doing. If we are the business, if we are the forefront of our brand, then this is it. This is it. This is the most important thing that you have to be focusing on. And I have it. I always say it. I feel like I sound like an old auntie, but I do have a really big suitcase of a toolbox suitcase that I can share with you, that I'm happy to, explore and, pull this out, and you just look what suits you, what fits you. But it won't matter. It really won't matter if you haven't done that other work and that other inward look that I just explained in a nutshell. So, with this from my heart to your heart, with a true longing for you to let this land, let this sit, and take away, maybe even don't do anything right now after this and sit down and what's coming up for you. And I would love for you to share this in the comments with me. What's your biggest takeaway? What is like this? Oh, I've been doing that. Oh, this is maybe why it's not working for me, or why it hasn't like fully like, and don't get me wrong, like I said, I've been doing this for many, many years and I've been seeing success. It's not that I haven't and only now. But the difference is now it's just like so easy breezy and so enjoyable. And it's just so much more fun. And I'm fully, wow, on this. Now it's just like fun. And I want this for you. So lots of love. You also see everything that is happening in my world and where you else can come in. If you say a mini offer Telegram space audio is not for you, I get it. I do have something really exciting as well, but this is not about pitching my offers. You can definitely DM me and reach out and we can chat. So this is it for now. Lots of love and talk to you soon.